Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit, particularly those of you who are overweight or those of you who are encouraging members of your family or people you care about to lose large amounts of weight who are overweight. And I'm someone who has a fair amount of loose skin. For those who don't know the backstory, I spent a year in bed sick, couldn't train for several years, so 10 months bedridden, I gained 100 pounds. 100 pounds of fat while I was in bed. I had to lose that fat later, and it left me a fair amount of loose skin around my waist, which, will tighten up a little more over time. But that's going to be a slow process for me because I'm 42 years old, competitive powerlifter, everything else. And here's what I would say to the people out there who are worried about the loose skin. You can't use as an excuse to not lose weight. You see that all the time, and people will actually try to lose weight super, super slow. And I'm not against slow weight loss. Believe me, the slower you lose it, the easier it is to keep it off. But they will actually use that as an excuse because they'll see loose skin and say, well, if you lose the weight slower, you won't get the loose skin. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that's not true. And that's really, really bad advice that people give. That's really bad advice to try to lose weight really super slow to avoid loose skin. It's not going to work. If you have gotten morbidly obese and you have more than about 50 pounds, more than 50 pounds of fat that you need to lose, you're going to have some loose skin no matter how slow you lose it. And in fact, loose skin tightens up, oftentimes doesn't even tighten up till you get ultra lean. And I'm talking a lot leaner than I am now. And to a person who's fat, who's looking at me right now, they're thinking this guy doesn't have a lot of body fat. Now you get over into the narcissistic, physique-obsessed bodybuilding world, and they'll call me obese. They'll call me a fat ass, right? They'll call me really fat. Even though at a DEXA scan I showed 17%, which is the healthy range for men. But the point is, you have to get leaner than I am for it to really tighten up. If you lose more than about 50 or 60 pounds of fat, you're going to have to actually get leaner than I am for it to fully tighten up. But you know what? That's okay. You shouldn't be ashamed of having some loose skin, right? And you guys can see it better on some of these, like my lower back there. That's where I hold a lot of it still. And down below the belly button. And it's there because I lost 100 pounds of fat. And the loose skin that you usually see is fat that's still adhering to that last layer of skin because your skin is paper thin, right? It's like saran wrap. You should be able to actually see through it to some extent. So if you see anything that's loose skin, that means there's still fat adhering to it, and it's not going to tighten up as much until that last layer of fat is gone and your skin gets really, really thin as a result of it. But most people don't want to get that lean. Even I don't really look forward to trying to get that lean because it's not fun to do by any means. You don't feel good when you do it. So the point that you need to remember is that, yeah, you're going to have some loose skin. But here's the thing. You're not going to look bad to the average person. In other words, you're going to look better when you go to the beach or you have to take your shirt off in front of an intimate partner or anything like that. You're still going to look better with the loose skin than you are with the extra 50, 60, or 70 pounds of extra body fat or 100 pounds of extra body fat. You're going to look better still. You're going to be healthier. You're going to be a hell of a lot healthier. You're going to have better quality of life. You're going to feel better. And you can't let stuff like that deter you. You cannot let that stuff deter you. And I can tell you, I have no trouble whatsoever with anyone thinking that I look terrible in public. As someone who has loose skin from that, nobody seems to think about it. No one says anything. I've been hit on plenty of times while shirtless at pool parties or boat parties and things like that. It really is not an issue. And I'm talking as someone who's experienced this. It's not going to be an issue for you. You can't let that make you self-conscious about your body. You can't let that make you self-conscious about your weight. Because to the general population, you're going to look 1,000 times better if you lose that weight and you get into shape and do some working out, some weightlifting, than if you just stay completely out of shape. You're still going to look better. You're going to feel better. You're going to be healthier. And here's what I would say to a lot of people out there who are judgmental of that stuff. You people like in the physique world, you really have to stop being so judgmental of that in the sense that most people are not involved in what you guys do. If someone who has some loose skin from fat loss tries to get on the bodybuilding stage, fine. You people can pick that apart because that is supposed to be perfection, right? The whole physique world is about obtaining perfection compared to other people in a competitive environment. But to people who aren't competing in that sort of stuff, who aren't putting themselves into that for competition, you really need to drop that nonsense. And the reason I say that is that you're deterring people from being healthier. And you could be deterring your loved ones, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, from losing weight and getting healthier with the very attitude that you have towards that. You know, you might be someone that they respect and look up to and see as a healthy, fit person. And then they see you kind of laughing about something like that and mocking it, and they might be overweight, and they're going to be reluctant sometimes to lose weight because even you're making fun of that person who's lost weight. And you do see that in the extreme fitness world. I mean, I've dealt with other YouTubers making fun of it. I have actual web pages dedicated to making fun of my loose skin, right? There are people who actually make a big deal about it. That's not constructive to getting people fit and healthy. That's not constructive at all. In fact, that's going to deter people from it. But you know what? I would say to all those people who are going to be deterred from it, don't be. You see someone like me who's suffered slings and arrows for it, right? People with 500,000 subscribers have made jokes about mine. There are web pages dedicated to it. There are people who troll me who actually make memes about it and GIFs and videos and everything else, and yet here I am still shirtless. Doesn't bother me. I'm still alive. I'm fine. Not embarrassed to be shirtless at all. You know what? It doesn't matter. You can't let that stop you from reaching your goals. You can't. And you can't use that as an excuse. You can't use that as an excuse. And I'm going to say right now to a lot of you out there who have loved ones who you know need to lose weight, if they mention the loose skin thing, you need to tell them that they're still going to look better and they're going to be healthier and they're going to live longer and they're going to have a higher quality of life if they lose the weight, and that they shouldn't worry about that because there's nothing they can do about it. They can either have that same loose skin full of big rolls of blubber with 50 extra pounds of lard inside that same loose skin, or they can have some loose skin that's just, again, loose skin. And it's still going to be smaller than if they keep the fat. Like when your loose skin is there, like my waistline was bigger, just the skin there when I was really fat. It was way bigger. It's actually shrunk down, and it'll continue to shrink down as I get leaner over time. It'll get tighter. But you can't let that stop you. And so I'm speaking to people out there who are self-conscious about this themselves, or holding off on their weight loss goals themselves, or those same people who perhaps are embarrassed about it. Don't be embarrassed about it. Look at me, I'm right here. I'm shirtless, right? It's not hurting me in any way. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed. Why should you be ashamed of the hard work that you put in and made a positive, massive change in your life? Like for anyone out there who needs to lose over 50 pounds of fat, to lose more than 50 pounds of body fat to improve your health, to improve yourself, you know, there can be some permanent changes from that. You're going to have some stretch marks. You're going to have some loose skin. Be proud of it. Be proud of what you've achieved. You should never, ever, ever be embarrassed by worthwhile accomplishments. Things that improve you, that improve your quality of life, improve your health. You should never be ashamed of those things. And what you need to remember is that anyone who tries to shame you over making a positive self-improvement to yourself that took hard work and dedication and effort, those people are terrible people. Those people are bad people. If they actually are going to mock you for that or make fun of you for having made a positive change, they're actually bad people. And if they're bad people, you shouldn't care what they think. And to those of you out there who have loved ones who are struggling with fat loss and they're working towards it and they're worried about loose skin, you need to be supportive of it. Be supportive of it. Tell them it doesn't matter. Tell them it doesn't matter, that it's still worth it for them to lose the weight, even if they're going to have to deal with that loose skin. Tell them not to be embarrassed. Tell them they look good when they lose that first 20 pounds or that first 30 pounds of fat. Don't say, oh, you look terrible, because people do that. I've seen that happen in families. You need to be encouraging them and tell them that they look great, that they've made fantastic progress at that first 20 or 30 pounds, and they need to keep going, encourage them to lose the next 20. That's what you need to do. If you really and truly care about them, that's what you will do. You'll continue to encourage them to keep going and tell them they look good, they look great, and that you want to see them lose another 20. You need to encourage those people. Make them feel that their efforts are worthwhile, because they are, particularly if it's somebody that you care about and you want them to be around another 20 or 30 years from now. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.